Hi, this is Karen McNall. I'm with inspiredbygram.com, and today I'm bringing you Crafting with Karen series, and we'll be packaging up these coffee candles that I purchased from the Dollar Tree store. And I've been kind of collecting them all summer long, and I found 12 of them. They're very hard to find because I think they're so popular, and many crafters and stampers just purchase them as right off the shelf. So I was lucky to obtain 12 of them, and my packaging is a little bit different than other people. A lot of people just use the Stampin' Up, let's see, it's the Coffee Cafe stamp set, and of course it's coffee related. I don't have this stamp set, so I'm going to show you how to design something very similar with just a couple stamp sets. So I think packaging really does sell your products. So hopefully you'll learn something new today from me. So let's set those aside. And what we're going to do is we are going to bring in our Stampin' trimmer. And I'll try to stay on camera here. We will need a piece of, this is Night of Navy and is cut 2 3/4 by 9 1/4. So what you're going to want to do is first you're going on the long side, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. So make sure your cutting blade is out of the way. You don't want to cut your paper, and you're using the lighter blade, which is your scoring tool. So we're just going to store it at 1/2 inch. We're going to rotate it to the left and score another 1/2 inch. Now we're going to turn it the opposite way, and we are going to be scoring at 3 1/4. Okay, just down and up, and then we're going to 6. And I know I'm going to be off camera, most likely. And then I'm going to take that extension arm out because we need to go all the way to 8 3/4, which is basically 1/2 inch on this side. Okay, so we've got that one scored. Our next piece is also Night of Navy. This is cut 2 3/4 by 11. And this one is scored, we'll score it 1/2 inch this way. Okay, and then we're going to rotate it, and we're going to score at 3 1/4, 3 3/4, and 6 1/2. All right, so we're all done with our scoring. I'll put that aside. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to fold along the score lines and burnish with our bone folder. You just want to make sure you get every one. And there's one more here. So this is basically the back and the bottom of your box, this piece here. And then this one, what we're going to do is I'm going to use my paper snips first. And we're going to need to remove some of this area. There's 3 places, and it's this little square at this corner here. So I'm just going to trim that off. And then we're just going to notch this side here. Now we're going to cut up along this next score line and then go all the way down. We're going to remove this piece here. Right up to that score line. And then cut up. Okay, and then we're going to notch this one. This just removes the bulk. And I forgot to notch this one over here, so I'm going to go back and notch this side here. All right, and now we're going to remove this corner here. So pretty simple, and I believe I'm hopefully on camera here. So it looks like this, and let me get rid of all these scraps here. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is you're gonna burnish all those score lines. So again, just take your bone folder. I go this way first, and then I'll do those other tabs. Okay, and now these tabs here. Okay, so now the next thing you're going to want to do is you want to put tear and tape along. So this is going to be the bottom. It's going to go this way. So you're going to want to put tear and tape on this. So what you're going to do is you're going to put tear and tape on the inside of that box. And you're going to go on every single tab here, one over here. The bottom one, Okay, and then this other one here. Whoops, stuff is really sticky. Okay, and then this one over here. You could use scissors too if you wanted to. Just sometimes it tears really well and it's so sticky. So I'm going to take this little piece and I'm going to just put it over here. Okay, so now what I do is I just give these a really firm rubs because it makes the backing come off a lot easier. Okay, so now I'm just going to peel this off. Actually, I forgot one step. Oh my gosh, I'm glad I have another one for you. So before we tear off the backing of the tearing tape, we need to put our designer series paper on this. So let's do that next for you. So I don't edit my videos, so what you see, what you're gonna get. So these are the pieces we're gonna be needing. We need to have 3 pieces are identical in size. They're 2.5 by 2. And what you're gonna do is you're just going to adhere them onto the piece of Native Navy. So I just need my snail here, and this is really simple to do. Just add it on. And if you have a pattern, certain pattern going certain direction, you want to make sure careful when you're cutting your designer series paper that you're cutting it the correct direction. Okay, and I'm just looking at my score lines, and I'm just, it's basically a 1/4 of an inch border along those score lines. All right, so there we go. So we have this piece. Now we need to put this the other piece of designer series paper on the other holder. So this piece is cut 3 and, let's see, it is cut 2.5 by 3.5, and it's going to go on the inside of your box. Okay, just right there. It doesn't need to go all the way down there. Okay, so we're just going to run our snail along all 4 sides. And again, if you had a direction, you'd want to pay attention to that. Okay. All right, so that is all set. So now we can put our box. So like I said, I already had this one done ahead of time, so I need to peel that off. But first we're going to bring in our big shot, because what we need to do is we need to cut a hole into this area here. And let's see, I've got my layering circles, and the size of this one is, I think it's, let's see, it's basically 2, it looks like it's 2 1/8. It's really hard to tell. And then that's actually the one to cut the circle. Oh my gosh, this circle right here, okay? And then this one is actually the one that cut out of the base, and this one is 2 1/4. It looks like about that, or 2 3/8 circle. So they're the layering circles from Stampin' Up. All right, so let's cut this one. We'll need the big shot. Bring that into the picture here, hopefully. Okay, so I've got my magnetic plate, and I've got an acrylic plate. I'm just going to scoot this through, and I've got a little bit of washi tape on here because this really helps keeping it in place, because there's about a less than 1/4 of an inch border on all the 4 sides here. So this just is going to secure this and keep that die in place. All right, and I'm going to bring my other acrylic plate in, and we're just going to run it through the big shot. Done with the big shot. And let's just bring this in. So there's our hole that we just created, and that's going to be for the candle. You're going to want to keep this because we're going to be using it on the box. Okay, so let's try to put this together now. I just need one more piece of tearing tape, and that's on this small piece here, which is going to be going up against the back side of your box. Okay, so we're just going to lay that flat, and I'm just going to run my tearing tape along the bottom and just give it a nice rub. And I'm just going to peel this off. Now the easiest way I found to line this up is to bend it down there, fold it along that other score line so it matches exactly on that other score line, and then you're just going to fold that over, give it a nice rub, and there's the bottom of your box. So your candle would just go in here. Okay, so we got that all set. The next thing we're going to want to do is bring in the piece here that we've already done. We'll remove the tear and tape backing. Let's get this prepped for you. Okay, and get those out of the way. And now I'm going to run some snail adhesive because I found it's easier just to do this. Just apply a little bit here. That way it will be easier to assemble. So I'm going to, this is the trickiest part. You're going to line up the bottom of this one to the bottom of the box, okay? So I've just got it pressed in there. This is a very slow process because that tear and tape is really sticky. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going to meet it over here. I'm just gently putting it down because if I need to move it, I know it's not like 100% secure. So right now I'm just kind of putting it in place. And then I'm going to put this one, then this one here. So it's all lined up nicely. So there's your box. So now what you want to do is you can just use your bone folder and gently, because remember you've got that circle in there for your candle, just give it a nice little press. You can also use your fingers. I find using my fingers a little bit easier. What you're doing is you're just pressing that tear and tape into the cardstock so it gets really nice and stuck. All right, so that's all set. Now, if you're selling these at a craft fair, you want to make sure you put your Stampin' Up! Copyright on the back, and that's what I do on mine. I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but I have my information here with the Stampin' Up! Copyright symbol. Okay, just to abide by our angel policy. Okay, so if you have any rough edges, you can, like I have one here, you can just trim it off with your paper snips. All right, so that's the base of our box. Okay, so now we're going to get to stamp. So I'm using mint macaron, and I'm also using the Night of Navy. The stamp sets we're going to be using today are Southern Serenade, and I'm going to use this background stamp here. And for the sentiment I've chosen is from Enjoy Life, and it's how beautiful a day can be when kindness touches it. So I need that circle that I've already pre-cut ahead of time here. And we're using the red rubber stamp. Okay, and we're going to stamp off. So I'm going to ink up the mint macaron. I need some scrap paper here. And my circle. And I'm just going to ink this up, stamp off. Okay, that's wicked dark, so you don't want it that dark. And then just stamp onto your circle, and then it just comes off. So it kind of looks like this. So it's just a little bit lighter touch to the ink. Our next step is to stamp our sentiment. And I've got that. That's a photopolymer stamp. So we got to bring in our piercing mat and our scrap paper. I always use scrap paper on my piercing mat. Okay, and then we're just going to ink up with the Night of Navy. And we're going to just stamp down and up. And I love this sentiment because it's bright, bold, and it's easy to read for your customer. Right, so we're all done with the stamping. And now we're just going to assemble. So I'm going to bring in my mat, and I need my snail, which is right here. And we're just going to add this circle to the Night of Navy circle that we cut out. Okay, and now we're going to add 3 dimensionals to the back side of this one. 1, 2, and 3. and just remove the backings by using your fingernails to give it a good press and just peel them off. So now what I like to do, so that I know this is gonna, you don't want it to go below because then your box won't sit. So I just put this on, I eyeball it. So it's just gently, so I know about where it goes. And then just kind of center it on. Dimensionals are very sticky, so just be careful of that and just give it a good press. All right, so now we're going to take our candle, and we use the caramel brulee. Okay, just make sure it's all clean and it just sits in there. See that hole there? That's the holder for your candle. All right, so now we're going to package it. I use these clear bags that I bought from Walmart, and they're size 4 by 9, I believe, and they are found in the bakery section. So it's a very tight fit, but they do fit nicely in these bags. You just gotta have a little bit of patience. They're gusseted bags too, so they do sit well and display nicely for you as well. Okay, so of course I got that little crooked, so I need to put it down there. Okay, so I've got the opening of that lid, coffee lid on the front. So now we've got to add our decorative shred. I think adding the decorative shred really adds a lot to your packaging, and like I said, packaging definitely sells. So I'm just going to take some off from that side. It's a little too much. And just put some on this side. I've had so many customers tell me that my packaging sells products. So if you struggle with packaging, just give it a, just try different ways of packaging, and you'll find it, what works best for you and your customers. I get a little heavy, too much on that side, so you don't need a lot of this, but it just adds a nice touch to your packaging. So now just to tie it off, let's see, that was a caramel. So we're going to work with this tag because we want our customer to know what scent candle. So what I just do is I just cut this at an angle, and I'm going to round the corner here with my snips real quick. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my 1/8 of an inch handheld punch, and I'm just going to punch a little hole in the corner there. I'm going to take the gingham garden, or what is this, gingham ribbon. It's Night of Navy. Beautiful. And I don't know, you probably need about 8 inches of ribbon. And just snip it off here. And now we're just going to tie a bow. So I go front to back, and I add a little knot on the back side there. So you want to be careful you're not bending the back of that holder. Okay, and you do want it tight enough, and just fuss with it a little bit until you get it in the right position, and then another knot on the front, and now we'll try to make a bow. Okay, that's not too bad, and I'm just going to fuss with this a little bit. Okay, so now I just need to bring in my ribbon scissors and we'll be all set. And just angle cut it. And there's your holder. So it's actually quick and easy. Sorry, I goofed up a little bit there halfway through the video, but like I said, I don't edit my videos. What you see is what you get from Karen. So so this is the packaging. I hope you enjoyed watching the video, that you learned something new today, and that you enjoy stamping. For all your Stampin' needs, you can find me at inspiredbygram.com. Thanks for watching.